Hi, Professor. Hi, everyone. This group is formed by Sawyer, Shen, Sergio, and Julia, and we're going to do a deep down analysis of the country we have selected, which is Ecuador.
So the economy of Ecuador is eighth largest in Latin America and the 69th largest in the world by the total GDP. And the Ecuador's economy is based on the export of oil, banana, shrimp, and also their money transfers from Ecuadorian immigrations. So as you can see from the graph, there is a decrease in 1998. That's because they are suffering from the financial crisis and combined with the unstable oil price worldwide. So, but they're soon recovered from this. As you can see from the graph, they increased from 2000 to 2012. Their economy even doubled from 2000 to 2007. So the most important part of Ecuador's trade is its merchandise trade. As you can see from the graph on the left, there's a strong correlation between merchandise trade and the total trade. And it's getting even more stronger recent years as the percentage of the merchandise trade is grow more rapidly than the trade of services. So for the next slide. The services sector is a large component of the Ecuadorian economy, accounting for almost 50% of the GDP in 1987. The largest part of the service sector was wholesale and retail trade at 29%. The financial trade at 23%. Then in 1989, the structure of the banking system resembled, and so it caused them to increase, and they have more developed monetary policy and the fiscal policy, which caused their services to rise rapidly. And then the next slide. So as we can see from the graph, the employment of services is in a predominant place of composition of the employment. Since 2000, it takes over 15% of the total employment, which is way above the share of employment in agriculture and the employment in industry. Also, the patterns of employment composition is stable. The employment in services increased by really small percentage, and the employment in agriculture and the industry were basically remain the same around 30% and 20%. So next is the composition.
So, for the consumption of products such as industry, services, and agriculture, it has been increasing in Ecuador since 1960. In 1981 and 2000, however, there were two major events that decreased the outflow of such production. In 1981, as you can see in the graph, Ecuador's intense confrontations with Peru started the famous Cenepa Wars. And in 2000, Ecuador went through its biggest economic crisis, which led them to convert to dollars and leave their national currencies. Since the 2000s, however, Ecuador has had increases in their trades and production. This is mainly because the country has had a more reliable and more stable currency, which made Ecuador more reliable for trading with other partners. And also due to their currency, their internal industries and services started increasing to cover the new demand for such, and compensating that difference by increasing trade. In 2008, Ecuador was impacted by the US recession due to its trade alliances with the country, as well as the using the same currency, which is dollars, which dropped the production of services and the overall composition of trade for 2 years. But after that, Ecuador always kept constant increases in its productions and its trading. since employment is mostly and relatively inelastic compared to the other ones. Most of the composition in Ecuador has remained the same, with employment in services mainly increasing due to an increase in the services production internally. So for resources, Ecuador has the benefit of having lands with rich natures that bring the country several resources that are keen in the culture of Ecuador. Some of such resources include bananas, cocoa, tropical fruits, oil, and marine species. This has allowed its economy to encourage exports of such products, such as exporting oil to the US and other main shareholders that want oil for their countries, or bananas to El Salvador, which they sell to the US. So, in other words, they have focused their trade objectives into importing and exporting merchandise goods. Most of the trade share comes from oil exports. We can see the fluctuations of trade percentage that have mainly been impacted by the price of Ecuadorian oil compared to the world price. Oil trading, regardless of the inevitable fluctuations, has been increasing since the 1960s. But in 2008, Ecuador was part of the U.S. economic crisis, as we mentioned in the last slide, which led them to make their oil sourcing processes less efficient, and inevitably charging more per barrel of oil. Which in 1917, a new government arose in Ecuador that was elected, and with their primary policies, their trade percentage has been increasing yet again. And these are our references. Thank you so much.